A drama is unfolding in a high-end Chicago restaurant. Spoiled heiress Veronica and her freeloading boyfriend Luke are smirking at his ex, Naomi. Luke leeched off Naomi all through college, and now that he found a rich girl, he claims Naomi is stalking him. But he forgot who Naomi is. She's famous for being tough and taking no crap. Without a word, Naomi slams a massive yards-long relationship bill onto the table. Tuition, groceries, sneakers, everything adds up to exactly $383,000. Completely humiliated, the jerk starts making furious excuses. Eager to flex her wealth, Veronica tosses a gold card at Naomi, sneering, "Keep the change." Just as they think they've won, Naomi smirks. She grabs a glass of juice and splashes it right in Veronica's face. With a lemon slice stuck to her sunglasses, Veronica looks like a total mess. Luke lunges at her, but Naomi shuts him down with a flawless shoulder throw, leaving him groaning on the floor. Furious and embarrassed, Veronica dumps the loser right then and there. Naomi takes the gold card, thrilled that her local chapel is finally saved. Cut to Naomi, now in a sharp denim utility suit. She arrives at Chicago's famous Vance Corporation, interviewing to be the CEO's personal bodyguard. On her first day, HR pulls her aside to warn her about the CEO, Ethan Vance. He despises women, especially gold-digging tryhards, who dress to impress, while Naomi stands in line, looking strictly professional. The icy CEO enters with his assistant, Zach, radiating pure power, but against all odds, the man who ignores all women freezes, his eyes locked onto Naomi. He strides forward, grabs her hand in front of the stunned crowd, and drags her toward his office. He orders everyone to leave them alone. Even crazier, Zach announces that Naomi is promoted to chief of security with a $5 million salary. The HR team and her new co-workers are absolutely speechless. Inside the office, Ethan locks the door and pulls Naomi tightly into his arms. With tears in his eyes, he kisses her with intense passion. Naomi freezes, wondering if her new billionaire boss is a total creep. What she doesn't know is that this is Ethan's alter ego, who just time-traveled from a year in the future. In that future, Naomi is murdered on her birthday by a mysterious killer. To rewrite her destiny, Ethan paid a heavy price to send his consciousness back in time, but the romance lasts only seconds before future Ethan faints from exhaustion right onto her shoulder. His body is instantly taken back over by his cold, ruthless, original personality. The cold CEO wakes up, finds himself holding a strange woman, and flies into a rage. He calls Zach in and demands that Naomi be fired immediately. But right after Naomi leaves, Ethan chokes on his coffee and collapses, unable to breathe. Springing into action, Naomi runs back inside and performs a flawless Heimlich maneuver. When that fails, she leans down to give him mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. That kiss accidentally triggers a bizarre psychological switch. The deeply in love, future version of Ethan is instantly forced back online, back in control. The sweet Ethan panics when he realizes his past self just fired Naomi. He immediately fires the toxic HR staff and co-workers who were mocking her outside. Then, he orders Zach to bring Naomi back at all costs. After all this chaos, Ethan finally figures out the rules of his own body. Whenever Naomi kisses him, his future self takes over, but the moment he sleeps or passes out, the cold, original CEO returns. Desperate to stay in control and stop the upcoming tragedy, Ethan scrambles for a solution. He spends the night drafting a strict daily kiss agreement. Zach watches in complete confusion, wondering if his boss has completely lost his mind. Down in the lobby, the petty co-workers mocking Naomi. They go pale as Ethan arrives in person to defend her. Ethan fires every single bully on the spot. He slams the $5 million lifetime contract in front of Naomi, demanding 24/7 protection. Though Naomi finds his logic bizarre, she accepts for the sake of the massive payday and playfully calls him Effie. To keep her safe, Ethan shamelessly moves into Naomi's tiny, modest apartment, but as soon as he falls asleep, the cold, original personality wakes up. The cold CEO looks around the cheap room and reads the ridiculous daily kiss contract. He fumes to learn that firing her means losing his entire fortune to a penalty clause. He tries to reset the corporate financial passwords, but his future self has completely locked him out. Naomi walks out in her pajamas, completely relaxed. She tells him he needs to kiss her if he wants the password back from his future self. The arrogant CEO refuses to believe it and threatens to fire her instead. To protect her $5 million gig, Naomi takes charge. She pins him down and forces a kiss to bring back the sweet Ethan. The future Ethan returns and immediately orders Zach to pull up a list of her enemies. Turns out her history of playing hero has left her with an endless list of targets. She has literally knocked out MMA fighters and heavyweight lifters alike. Ethan plays detective, investigating every single lead to find her future killer. Meanwhile, real trouble is already closing in on Naomi. While training at her dojo, she gets surrounded by a gang of local thugs. Her sleazy ex, Luke, fled after racking up $5 million in debt, naming Naomi as his guarantor. When the thugs threaten and harass her, Naomi doesn't flinch. Her martial arts brothers step in immediately. They completely demolish the thugs who claim to work for Veronica's family. Even after getting beaten, the gang leader keeps screaming threats. Right on cue, Ethan rolls up in a stunning tuxedo, looking incredibly sharp. With his immense wealth and power, he completely crushes their local influence. Sensing his time running out before the cold personality returns, Ethan urgently begs Naomi to kiss him in the final minute. Confused but desperate, Naomi leans in and kisses him right in front of the cheering dojo. Her martial arts brothers quickly cover their eyes, shouting for privacy, but a dark conspiracy is brewing in the shadows. A mysterious hacker begins a massive cyber attack on Vance Corp's financial system. If they break the encryption, billions of dollars will vanish, bankrupting the company. Backstage at a charity gala, a panicked Zack warns Ethan that their cyber defenses are failing. Racing against the clock, Ethan locks lips with Naomi for another quick recharge. He fights to stay conscious at the keyboard, launching a thrilling counter-defense. Even though the cold CEO hates being forced into these ridiculous romantic contracts, but facing bankruptcy and seeing Naomi save him repeatedly, his heart softens. Still, Naomi eventually snaps over Ethan's constant, erratic demands for random kisses. Thinking the billionaire is just playing games with her, she throws her files and yells, "I quit." Kicked out of the dojo, Ethan watches her storm off. Instead of getting mad, he finds her angry pout incredibly cute. Suddenly, his face drops as he spots two suspicious men lingering nearby. For the time-traveling CEO and his fierce bodyguard, the real battle for survival has just begun. Late at night, Naomi is walking down a deserted street with her hair in a high ponytail. She already knows someone is creeping around in the shadows behind her. With an icy glare, she whips around with a spin kick, slamming Luke right onto the pavement. Groaning in pain, Luke quickly begs for mercy and reveals his face. This loser turns out to be her trash ex-boyfriend. He got caught cheating and now has the nerve to show up drunk, begging for a second chance. Disgusted, Naomi turns to walk away. Seeing that playing nice won't work, the jerk snaps and accuses her of sleeping around for money. Naomi just watches his pathetic little show with icy indifference. Suddenly, Luke signals 4 thugs armed with iron bars to surround her in the middle of the street. Outnumbered but completely unfazed, Naomi crosses her arms and asks what he wants. Luke starts professing his love, blaming his entire cheating scandal on Veronica. He claims it was a temporary mistake while grabbing her arm to force a reconciliation. Naomi laughs in his face, reminding him he is a walking red flag who has no right to ask for a comeback, just as Luke orders his thugs to drag her away. A gorgeous man in a sharp black tuxedo and bow tie suddenly appears under a blinding spotlight. He steps forward, majestically like a savior emerging from the light. The tuxedo-clad stranger ignores the street thugs completely. He strides over with his long legs and pulls Naomi confidently into his arms. He looks at the crowd and coolly announces, "I am Naomi's husband." Losing his mind with jealousy, Luke completely loses his cool. He hurls insults and orders his thugs to smash both of them to pieces. Unshaken, Naomi balls her fists. She warns Luke that things are about to get ugly if they don't beat it right now. Blind with rage, Luke sends his men charging at the tuxedo guy with their iron bars. Luke screams that he is just a weak little boy living off women. The billionaire steps up attempting a heroic counterattack, but despite his grand entrance, he actually sucks at fighting and gets overwhelmed immediately. His combat skills turn out to be completely non-existent, as he gets pushed back and takes a nasty hit to the corner of his mouth. Naomi can't take it anymore, mutters, "Wow, you are incredibly weak," and steps into the fray. She turns into an absolute war goddess, unleashing a flawless combo. Within seconds, all 4 bulky thugs are lying on the ground, crying for their moms. Naomi snatches a baton and shoves it right into the leader's mouth. She gives Luke a terrifying glare, "Bother me again, and I'll break you." Meanwhile, the bruised billionaire is happily filming her on his phone. He smiles with hearts in his eyes, whispering, "My girl is so hot." The thugs drag Luke away as they flee, and Naomi turns to demand what the hell he is doing here. Lowering his phone, the guy suddenly turns deeply sincere and apologizes to her. He admits he wrongly accused her family without checking the facts first. For her safety, he insists she move into his mansion immediately. He uses the ultimate excuse: a personal bodyguard needs to provide round-the-clock protection. Looking at his bruised, pathetic face, Naomi rolls her eyes and agrees to go with him. Back at his luxury estate, the billionaire changes into a clean white shirt. Naomi sits on the sofa with a cotton swab, gently dabbing medicine on his split lip. Under the dim, romantic lights, their breaths mingle as their faces drift closer, just as their lips are about to touch in a heart-stopping, cinematic moment. His assistant bursts through the door unexpectedly, yelling "Boss," completely shattering the romantic vibe into a million pieces. The terrified assistant stammers an apology and bolts out the door. Right then, the switch flips inside Ethan, and his arrogant, icy alter ego wakes back up. The warmth vanishes, replaced by his signature cold billionaire stare. He looks over the background file the assistant just handed him. He finds out that the struggling local chapel is actually Naomi's childhood home. Learning that Naomi goes there just to visit home, the cold CEO pretends not to care, yet his protective instincts kick in instantly, buy up the entire block. Late at night, Naomi is in her bedroom calling her bestie, Chloe, planning to go out. Ethan walks in and coldly forbids her from leaving the house at this hour. Naomi argues that she is off the clock and entitled to her own time. But the arrogant CEO refuses to budge, claiming total responsibility for her safety. Realizing brute force won't work, Naomi turns on the waterworks, fake crying flawlessly. This sudden display of vulnerability completely panics the clueless CEO. Naomi catches him off guard and instantly bolts past him out the door. Cut to a wild neon-lit club where Naomi is rocking a denim jumpsuit. She is tearing up the dance floor, having a blast with Chloe. There is even a lineup of ripped shirtless male models performing on stage. Chloe screams over the music that this is her special surprise gift, but they completely miss Ethan sitting in a nearby VIP booth, wearing a sharp dark suit. His face is pure darkness, and his possessive gaze is locked directly onto Naomi. Chloe rants about how trash exes only deserve a good beating while feeding Naomi drinks. Naomi lets loose completely and gets absolutely wasted. Unable to take it anymore, Ethan storms over with a grim look. He picks up the rambling drunk Naomi and carries her right out under the shocked stares of the crowd. The next morning, the sun rises as usual. The stiff CEO wakes up on the bedroom floor, realizing he spent all night babysitting a drunk girl. Back at the office, Ethan is looking at his bruised face in the bathroom mirror. Naomi sneaks in looking guilty, and Ethan instantly puts on his cold mask, demanding to know how his face got hurt. Dodging his eyes to hide her clubbing night, Naomi stammers out a terrible clumsy lie. Ethan scoffs, giving her exactly 5 minutes to get ready for work. In the executive suite, the arrogant CEO sits at his desk listening to business updates. The bitter Veronica struts in to complain that Ethan dropped $50 million to buy a block for his bodyguard. Ethan's eyes go ice cold, secretly cursing his future alter ego for being totally brainless. He can't believe his other self got completely played by a gold digger. He turns to Naomi and coldly tells her that her little games won't work on him. He instructs her to find another job and stop looking for a shortcut to wealth. Naomi walks out, frustrated that she is stuck with this gold digger label. Right then, Veronica corners her in the hallway with a group of heavy-duty security guards. Veronica points a finger at Naomi's face, insults her, and orders her goons to beat her up, but she clearly didn't do her homework. Naomi is an absolute weapon. She wrecks the security guards within seconds, leaving them flat on the floor. Walking out just in time to catch the action, Ethan doesn't get mad at all. Instead, he tells Naomi, "Hospital bills are on me, go all out." He then cancels all business contracts with Veronica's family on the spot. Naomi rolls her eyes, muttering that he is just making things more dramatic. Back in the cubicles, a group of jealous female coworkers who harbor a grudge. They intentionally dump heavy packages and giant water jugs on her desk. Determined to prove her worth, Naomi doesn't complain at all. She lifts the heavy items effortlessly, leaving every guy in the office jaw dropped. Later, she overhears them plotting more office bullying in the break room, pushing her past her limit. Naomi smirks and snaps, "You really thought I was a pushover, huh?" She grabs a mop and goes to war across the floor, splashing dirty water everywhere, turning the corporate office into an absolute chaotic battlefield. Right in the middle of the madness, Ethan strides into the room looking furious. He fires the bullying manager on the spot, completely backing Naomi up. He then pulls Naomi into his private inner office. Behind closed doors, the defensive walls between them finally melt away. After some intense, playful bantering and endless flirting, they officially make up, wrapped in each other's arms under a simulated starry sky. They get their perfect, romantic happy ending.